We're about to break down today's Cowboys mailbag. If we do not get to your question, you can always hit me up on Twitter at whatgoingdowney. 23K is the next goal on my Twitter. So hit me up at whatgoingdowney. My DMs are open. Some super thanks to get to begin today's show from Tyler Madden. Make the Cowboys great again. Can the Cowboys offer record contracts, the big three, this year? This technically came in before Lamb, but Lamb was going to be crossed off. They can. They will not. They are not. They're not. Neither side with Micah and Dallas, by the way, is really trying at this moment. And I'm not upset by that necessarily. You don't save as much money. The market's going to be the market. It is what it is. It's going to grow no matter what. So I'm not panicking on that front. But they can, over the next couple years, they can if they want to. Doesn't mean that they will or that they'll choose to, but they can. They can afford to do so if they choose to. It is a very different question than if they'll choose to, though. And that came in via Super Thanks. It is a feature here on YouTube. Allows you to donate outside of the live videos. Click your thanks icon, edit your message, send in whatever. We'll give you a shout out here on the show. A $5 super thanks from CJ DeYoung III. I honestly believe that old Jiraiya's plan is to do all these silly shenanigans with his players just to keep them in the headlines and relevant. Thanks. CJ, you are not the only Cowboys fan. You are not the only media person who believes that. You can even meet them halfway of like, well, they want to win the deal, and if they don't win the deal, it's okay because they get all the attention anyway. This is not how I would operate business. I don't think it's shrewd. I don't think it's smart. The Cowboys are not just a media entity designed to generate attention. They're a football team. They're supposed to win games. I want to do the things that help you win games. It is perfectly fine to disagree over what those football things are to help you win games. You know what does not help you do that? Drag out contracts. Be the center of attention. Pay more than you could have paid previously. That does not help you. Helps you be the number one ESPN storyline. That does not help you win games. In fact, it's probably more of a negative than it is a positive these days. It wasn't the same when they were bad, but when they're a contender, you don't need to be a PR machine at that point. So what is your overall trust level in the Cowboys front office, ownership group included in that? It is the pinned comment on today's show, so if the ad comes on YouTube, take advantage of it. 1 to 10 is your scale. Matthew Barch, Tom, what do you think our biggest need is? I still don't love that running back room. I still think you're a little thin at corner now, depending on how Caelen Carson plays. You've got depth, but it's tough when you lose a top 10 corner or whatever he is in Deron Bland. Bit worried about that edge rushing group because, again, you were really banking on Sam Williams. You haven't found a replacement yet. You've been trying, guys. Hasn't worked out yet. You've signed 3 guys and cut them all, by the way. Carl Lawson, Al-Quadri Muhammad, and Shaka Toney. Lawson's on the practice squad at least. Running back stands out to me. It's the worst room in the NFL. It is. Food review. What do you think is the surprise start in week 1 or someone who has a big impact? For example, Terrence Steele in 2020 as a UDFA. So I guess I can't do Caelen Carson then because everyone knows he's going to end up starting. Surprise impact. I'll try to pick with a younger player still. I think they could do some fun things with Kevontae Turpin in week 1. I could see them giving him some like screens out of the backfield, some like toss plays in space because he can't go up the middle, but he does offer juice on the outside. I could see some creativity there. Maybe it's one of your linebackers. Maybe Maris Leofau plays a bigger role than expected in week 1. Or John Stevens Jr. flashes as a tight end too for you. Travis Wellington. Why not trade for Khalil Herbert? Well, it takes 2 to tango. And maybe the Bears didn't want to trade him away. Have to acknowledge that as a possibility. I've got day 3 picks. I can move a 5th or a 6th for him. Happy to do it. Cowboys might not feel the same way, but I feel like that is worth mentioning there. There's a guy I like a lot, but TBD if both sides want to make that happen. So name a player who you still want to add. This could be trade, could be free agency, practice squad, whatever. Name a player who you want to add. Rody Muspim. Who's the bell cow going to be? I don't think you'll have like a true bell cow. It's going to be a committee. It's going to be a rotation. In theory, ride the hot hand. I think the guy that should get the most touches is Rico Dowdle. They might make it Ezekiel Elliott, though. From Golf Cowboy, what do you think the pass rush will be ranked? I have some concerns with Micah burning out. I don't think the pass rush will necessarily be as good because you've lost a lot of key pieces, right? You've lost Dante Fowler. You've lost Dorrance Armstrong. You've lost Sam Williams. You've got Marshawn Nealon and Chauncey Golston stepping up more. Don't love that. I think you'll see some linebackers be more involved. There's going to be more blitzes. I think it'll be a very different rush under Mike Zimmer than what Dan Quinn was doing. You might have fewer big splash plays that you both force and that you both allow. So we'll have to see how that one plays out. But I'm not as worried about Micah as I am about, like, who's your number 3 pass rusher? Is Nealon ready for that role? I'm not so sure. You guys can get your own Cowboys turnover chain, just like the one that I wear when the Cowboys make a turnover on defense or special teams. That's chatsports.com/Cowboys chain. Mine is the silver. The navy is the one that is available. So go to chatsports.com/Cowboys chain to get yours today. They are frequently, by the way, on sale over at Fanatics. Daniel M., would you want to trade one of your safeties for a running back since that's the weakest spot on our roster? Not that I know, because I lost Julius Wood. If that could have been a deal you made at cutdown time, trade away a safety, keep Julius Wood, add a back. I'd have been fine with that depending on what safety and what back you got. But I think now you're kind of thin if you go with Malik Hooker, Donovan Wilson, Marquise Bell, Wanye Thomas. You dump one of those guys, you're then one injury away from having zero depth all of a sudden. So I think you probably missed the boat for that deal. No snafus. If this is Zack Martin's last year, are you confident his replacement is on the team now? I feel pretty good about giving TJ Bass a shot. Thought he played pretty well in a small sample size last year. I would give Bass my first shot and maybe look for another draft pick or add a veteran or something along those lines. I'd feel pretty good about Bass, though, being able to step in. Walter Contreras, why not trade Trey Lance? Who wants him? It takes two to tango. Who is trading right now for Trey Lance? Minnesota's not. I know people think that they were never going to. It was not going to be a thing that they did. Because Trey Lance has 1 year left on his deal. He is not ready to instantly be that, veteran backup. He is still a developmental piece. Who wants a 1 year developmental guy? That kind of defeats the whole purpose of a trade right now. He's got to learn a new offense. Then he's right back where he was this time last year. I don't think anybody wants to go after Trey Lance right now. I don't think that the timing's wrong. And it's not like he played well in the final preseason game anyway. So is Trey Lance the future in Dallas? Y for yes, N for no, M for maybe. Maybe you're not out yet. Maybe you are. Or maybe you just think you still believe in him. Get your votes in for me in the comments of today's video. Fulbright TV, think we are good at corner or need to sign somebody? Is Carson ready? I'm down to give Carson a chance. The timing is what makes this tricky. Like, if this were a season-ending injury for DaRon Bland, I think we all would have been like, you got to get somebody in here. You have to add more talent. DaRon Bland is going to be back between week 4 and week 8. So is there a veteran out there who says, you know what, I will take my 2, 3, 4 weeks to get ramped up. I'll start my 2, 3, or 4 games, and then I'm just out of here as a backup. I don't know who stands out in that particular mold. Is that what Xavier Howard wants? That's what Dory Jackson wants. In a bubble, it'd be nice to add another more proven guy over, say, Andrew Booth. I just have doubts about how feasible it ends up being. If you can make it work, I'm fine with it. But I think they're going to give Caelen Carson a shot there. Now, if you want to have your questions answered in the future, then make sure you guys are subscribed. These mailbags are all done live, so make sure you don't miss out. Hit that sub button at youtube.com/@CowboysTV. Buster Cherry, would you trade for Joe Milton? My simple answer is no. Joe Milton is a trap. He has been a trap since he began his time over at Michigan. Like, he has an incredible arm. He truly does. Got a cannon for it. He's got mobility. He shows flashes. He's not actually all that consistent. Did we watch him? Like, have you guys, like, he actually didn't play that great in the preseason. He showed flashes of it. He showed flashes of being able to be an intriguing QB. I still think in the end, he might be more of a tight end athlete than he is a quarterback. Like, he's not an accurate player, and I don't think that's ever going to change. He missed a ton of throws in the preseason. That arm is a rocket launcher. It's a heat-seeking missile with the tracking disabled, and you have no idea where it's actually going to end up going. So I actually have zero desire to trade for Joe Milton. Like, he was 5 of 17 against the Commanders. We don't pretend that that's good. The highlights are intriguing, but the down-to-down consistency is bad. Amarion ZA, CD for 2,000 yards. My answer is I don't want him to. Because that means you're probably having to throw it a lot in games. And you are probably down a lot in games. You know, he got to 17. He and Dak sat like almost half of the game's fourth quarters, like half of the halves of fourth quarters. They sat out like 2 or 3 full combined games. Like, it is doable. I think I'll take the team outcome over the individual. Although I did take CeeDee Lamb number 2 overall in my fantasy draft, so I would not be mad at that.